Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Speedway Willow Springs. Here at the end of 2018, we're going to finish things off right because we have the SoCal Enduro 300, a race that these drivers will be racing for $4,000. We have quite a lineup, and I don't know if they're going to give me all the time I need to go through it all, but I'm going to do my best. Starting on the front row out there, you see the 44M machine of Mike Miller and the 27 of Matt Chadwick. Row number 2, the 169 of Ken Lucazonis and the number 9 machine of Tony Gondola, who he said I've always messed up his name, and I'm like, how's that even possible? Seems like an easy name. Row 3, the 117 Michael Hudson starting alongside the 17 of Daniel Hudson, and the 69 machine starting in row number 4. That is driver Bryce Chadwick with the 9X of Jake Basham. Then we go back to row number 5. 9th place starter, the number 7 machine of Jose Palacios, starting along the 41 machine of Corey Carter. Then we have the 84 of Matt Durkee, and the 57X of Stephen Lawler. By the way, we're not starting double wide, we're starting triple wide here at Speedway Willow Springs. The 34 on track, that is Tim McReynolds. I'm only going to get so far back here, and then they're going to start changing everything on me. But you see McReynolds, the 13 machine in the field is Dwight Kelly. Now I'm going to go to this outside row up here. We have the 24 machine starting up on that front row of Sam Patel. The 58 outside of it, that is driver Randy Hanna. The 11 machine there on the field. As you see these cars going by, the 11 of Jerry Burks. The 4 is piloted by Daniel Chadwick, and the 53 driver Dale Connors. Then we get back to the 49, Mike Wazowski on the racetrack. That is Jefro Blalock. And now this is where everything's going to just start getting crazy. The 25 of Trey Melchers. The 49 of Ken Iannalfo. 4T4 Johnny Troesch teaming up with Tim Dewar. 88 on the racetrack of Richard Selph. 09 machine of Jared Puskarich. 74, as you see, they will be driving through dirt. Oh boy. 74 machine, Ken Iannalfo. 52 in the field in that area of Robert Kleisner. The 23 machine on the racetrack. They didn't get a name, but I did. Danny Koch. The 311 machine is David Van Rossum. And the 74 of Ken Iannalfo, I already said that name. We have the 8, we'll be back there, of Chris Smith. The 302 machine of Gary Dion. The number 10 on the track, another driver that they don't have a name on, but I do. That's Danny French and Mark Shackleford. They call themselves the Love Shack team. And rounding out the field, I believe this is everybody. That would be the 34 of Tim McReynolds. I say I believe that's everybody because I'm pretty sure it's not. I'm just being real. I'm just accepting what there is to accept. Let's see if there's any cars that go by that I don't believe I've gotten the names on. Mentioned that 4 machine, Daniel Chadwick. They're getting these cars all lined up. They will start 3 wide here. 300 laps. They will pause at every 300. Now, because we're out in the desert here in California, it's going to get a little chilly at night. So what the plan is that in the event that we need to throw red, we will throw red. But these drivers only have an hour to complete each segment. That's 3 segments. Each segment will last an hour if they can't get to 100 laps before that hour. Trey Melchers going by on the 25, the 53, as mentioned, of Dale Connors. Haven't been to Speedway Willow Springs in a while. Excited to be back here and bringing you folks some good old footage of a 300-lap Enduro. Low-budget TV here. Now, I'm here solo this weekend because Tommy's out. There's a Domino's car on the racetrack. But Tommy's out in Kansas doing some announcing for a big old demolition derby. The Blizzard Bash. But it doesn't mean that low-budget TV can't bring you a bunch of good stuff. Allen Rath there in the 21 machine, that 88 of Richard Selph, 4T4. I mentioned that's a dual team of Johnny Troesch Jr. and Tim Dewar. Pusky in the 09. Now here's the pretty car. The prettiest car award goes to this one right here. The 26. Beautiful. That 26 driven by Keith Murphy. And I think we got through everybody. Now there might be a few cars that are still in the pits that are having trouble getting going. That's kind of the nature of these type of cars. 32 Justin Glass. I don't know if I got that name, but I did now. As we get ready to go, I'm going to try and hand count how many cars we have here on track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I already lost count. I count 37 cars on the racetrack. A great turnout out here. These drivers vying for $4,000 and already pit strategy. These drivers were asking the important questions during the drivers' meeting, like, what if I have to pee? I don't know if they got the answers they wanted, but they certainly got answers. At 53, Dale Connors right now. What's going on over here with Dale? So there's a lot of attention happening. I believe what they're doing right now is looking at the transponder for this 53 of Connors. They wanted to do a transponder check. Now here's what's cool. Right behind me, here, we got drifting. You want to drift? Then do it. But that's not what we're here to watch. We're here to check out the Enduro cars. Again, a great field coming out here. Now, this has really been kind of the growing, I want to say the growing interest out here in Southern California. Already a lot of interesting things taking place here on the back straightaway. That's Daniel Hudson, the 17, having some apparent issues. And the 84, are they going to do a chain push here? Do it.
I'm gonna start walking.
So Durkee in the 84 and Hudson in the 17 machine, both getting pushed off, and the 24 also with an exit. There's something wrong with the 24 machine of Sam Patel. They're getting ready to go racing. 300 laps. Again, we're trying to get this done before it gets too cold, so they will have an hour limit on each portion of the race. The drivers and cars are lined up on the track already, having a couple cars with some issues. But it's the 300-lap race. This is an endurance race. In fact, we just covered an endurance race of 300 laps out at Orange Show Speedway with figure 8 cars. As we saw in that one, you can have issues early and come back and still get yourself a good finish. Will that take place here? I wouldn't doubt it. There's a quiet blanket over the racetrack. The anticipation is great. But it will not be quiet for long. Now they may be seeing if they can give a few extra minutes to those competitors that had to pull off. A couple of cars with hoods up on the back straightaway. Surprised to see the 17 of Hudson with issues early as we get ready. It is time for 300 laps of Enduro racing. The SoCal Enduro 300 at Speedway Willow Springs. Watching for the flag. Hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen. Buckle down to those couches. Put a wooden spoon on your teeth. Green flag is in the air. It begins. It's not your standard type of racetrack. We got dirt, we got asphalt, we got turns, twists, lefts, and rights. And we got one car almost looping it in front. And they told the drivers, if you go to the inside of this tire, you will not get scored for that lap. Another car around, it's the 7. Jose Palacios. Contact over in the corner. Now here I didn't mention the best part. I don't have timing and scoring. The only people that do are up in the tower. We're gonna get updates every now and then. I believe your leader just got turned around though, the 44 machine. Mike Miller getting turned in a really difficult spot. How do you get out of this hole? I guess like that. Mike able to continue on. So the big part of this first 100 laps is surviving. Try not to lose too many laps, stay in contention. Oh, Miller's gonna get turned again, almost. But whatever you do, make sure that you do not go to the inside of this tire right here, because you will not get scored. It is an automatic dock of a lap. The only spot where the transponders are working is across the line in between, because they have 2 scoring loops here. Yeah, I have no idea who's in what spot. But we do have a car stopped on the track. Now continues on, the 13. Oh, and again, the 41 with issues in front of the pack. There's a wall. Hold on, 26. The car that came with the stacks. 74 turned there. Through the inner loop. We're gonna run out of space for cars on this part of the track. In the wall goes the 41. Well, it's about as crazy as I thought it was gonna be. It's crazy. Corey Carter, who we've seen in the wall and spun out a few times. Rodney Argo here, losing his rear bumper. Ew, we're running out of room here. You can't do that. 4T4 getting together with a 57X of Lawler. Just squeezed and ran out of room. Both cars continue. This is an Enduro. Oh, Lawler, we saw that car go in the wall. That car's pulling up, the 57. Whoop, in the wall we go. Now they do, I believe, have race monitor going for this event, but my issue is I have no reception at this track, so it wouldn't help me very much. One car stopped on the back straightaway. It's the 49 machine. Ken Iannalfo. Oh, turn! And we got cars crashing here. Coming to the start-finish line. It gets very tight. It squeezes. Watch out! '11 seems to be off the pace. A couple cars getting into each other there. Jerry Burks, driver we've seen compete out of Antelope Valley. Fairgrounds having issues. Now I can't tell you who's leading, but I can tell you who's looking good. The 9X machine really picking them off, putting them down. You see the dust starting to get heavy. Now that's another reason they will have a break. Red flag, red flag. Now we get to find out how many drivers have radios, and apparently not many. See if we can figure out what this red flag is for. See issues for the 23 machine. That's not going to last very long. .169's leading. Hey, let's. Who's this guy that just told us that?
Glenn Davis.
Glenn Davis, you're wearing a Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse hat. Why would that be?
Because I'm sponsoring the race today. This is 300 laps of absolute mayhem. You guys should be here.
Well, thank you for putting on all the support you do in the Southern California region. We appreciate it. We really do.
I really love the smell of burnt transmission fluid in the morning.
Yeah, and then steak at night, right?
Absolutely.
That's it. So, Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse, a great supporter of short track racing out here. And like we've said, bunch of racetracks that get their support, and we love them. We love them for it. We mentioned the 23 machine smoking it up of Danny Koch. And the 169 is our leader. And they're getting ready to go back to racing. 169 is Ken Lucazonis. Ken's had some experience driving these crazy type of events. And we're green. And this is the problem you're going to have with restarts, is the cars that won't get going. The 34 kind of just dead in the water here. Watch out, 26. This car's probably going to end up getting rear-ended. Oh, yeah. All right. Because you racing someone, then you realize, oh, there's a car right in front of me. 41 of Carter also stopped just next to this, and it's adding to the blockage. That 34 machine driven, I believe that's a Tim McReynolds car. We have a 34 and a 34X. 34 is Tim McReynolds, 34X is Johnny Troesch III, and this 26 is I think my favorite. I don't know if I anticipate that car winning, but he's definitely putting on a show. So every red flag, we will likely get an update of who's running where, as far as at least our leader. And there it is. 27 got turned into the 34. 34 is trying to get that car started up. Just can't. Now the 32. Glass may be off the pace. No, that car continues on just fine. By the way, I mentioned the 49 who was off the pace earlier. Look at that, the 25 machine now pulling it off. Trey Melchers. Whoa, watch out. 17 and never made it back on the racetrack. Just based on recent events, I'd say Hudson would be one of the favorites. Oh, yeah, we're going the wrong way on the racetrack. Watch out. That's the 27 machine of Matt Chadwick. Chadwick's had a couple issues, probably isn't too happy right now. Now, what's good about a race like this, sometimes you get guys that maybe want to beef up their cars a little bit. I believe if Ken's still leading, there he is, the 169, Ken Lucazonis. But the beautiful part about a track like this is you're really not going to get an advantage. Oh, 09 stuck and backing out. Sometimes you have to give up a bumper or two just to get out of your position. 117, Hudson gets turned. And the 34 is kind of moving. They did inform the drivers that unless you're in a very bad spot, they're going to leave them where they are. Red flag. Now here's the problem when you stop in front of everybody. You almost want to do what this other car did, because everyone just kind of figures out the red flag's out because the next car stopped in front of them. Someone's yelling. I don't know who it is, but there's somebody unhappy right now. Might be the 117 and the 27 having a conversation. I do believe that's Tim McReynolds. Waiting to get a rundown of who's running where. So Ken Lucazonis is leading. I believe I heard the 49M machine is in second. And was it Chris Smith that I heard? The 09 machine? Nope, I lied. That would be the 8 machine. Oh, we're having a conversation.
169.49 M1.
Who's the third place car? The third place car is who?
No, second place car.
Oh.
49M.
Cool. Perfect. Can you believe that there'd be tempers in an event like this? Cooling it down, Andy? Well, I have a camera set up over in the dirt area, but if they have a long enough red flag, I might reset it up here on the front straight away. Although, actually that'd be a bad idea because this is where I am. But man, this has been a wild start. As mentioned, it's 100 laps or 1 hour each segment. Mike Wazowski.
How are they going to explain to moms about their car?
What's that? Yeah, that is a good point. A lot of these drivers probably borrowing the car from, their favorite uncle, or, hey, Mom, I'm going to go get the car washed. And, yeah, probably not the case. The last trailer race I saw out at Irwindale Speedway, I kid you not, someone literally drove a tow truck that they needed to tow their stuff home in, but they didn't have a pole car, so they just took the tow truck on the racetrack. Of course, that was crazy, Steve Cook. See them pushing Corey Carter's 41 machine off of the track as well. 27 working the tire pressures. You see they got the oh, that's someone's head. So one of the conversations that's happening right now is drivers, or at least one driver, is getting upset with another driver. I believe it's the 27. It's one way or the other. But they are informing the 27, as was just called up here by our Pinnacle Peak representative, that the right rear tire is going down on that 27 machine. Now, the yelling fight is regards to, hey, this guy's taking me out, do something about it. Well, the reason that they're pointing this stuff out to the officials is the officials did say in the drivers' meeting that, look, we're out here to have a fun, as clean as we can type of race. We don't want drivers just dumping people out there, turning this into a straight-up demolition derby. If it turns into a demolition derby, well, that's the nature of enduros. But we don't want to go out there and have guys purposely wrecking each other. So they did inform. They said if we do see you guys maybe over-aggressing out there, doing a little bit too much of extracurriculars, they will give a black. They also have a mechanical black flag that they will display in the event that they need a driver to pull off of the racetrack. They have an official ready to inform anyone of any of those scenarios of, hey, this is why you're being black flagged. The 34 are getting the push, McReynolds. As I mentioned, there's two 34s on the track. There's a 34 and a 34X. And we might have some cars getting ready to pit. Some updates, the 69 machine sitting there in the infield. That's not a good sign for Bryce Chadwick. They just pushed the 34 off. This 49 that's been sitting there in the infield with a very broken right front. Now, that can easily be the result of hitting one of these tractor tires that are around the racetrack. Those things look like, oh, well, they're tires, right? But you might as well be hitting the wall. Those things, while they may move a little bit, they do not give a lot. And these cars definitely feel it. The Domino's car. Ken Iannalfo. Oh, now we're having another conversation happening. Wouldn't you know it, it's the other 34 car. I do believe.
That's not legal to have guys pushing you during races.
Hey, as brought up, is it legal to push cars? Look, all I'm saying is I saw this happen at Daytona with Richard Petty, so it's got to be okay, right? So it's not a good lap to be a 34 car. Now this is the 34X. That is Johnny Troesch III. And you I don't know if you saw the painter's tape X on the side of the door, but that is our designator. And this is why they did inform drivers that, look, we're going to give you an hour to complete each of the 100 laps. Because sometimes these breaks are going to take a while. Now, a couple of the cars we saw pull off right at the beginning. I've had those type of issues, battery problems or whatnot, and it's such a downing feeling where you're getting ready, you've probably been prepping the car for a couple weeks, you're excited, and you got the car looking, well, some of these cars looking good. I can say it because I use house painter's tape on my cars. But, and then, yeah, you have these issues that, you know, take you out. You don't even see the green flag, and but that's the other side of this. It is a 300-lap race. You do have an opportunity to get on this racetrack. They're telling the 27. Here's the crew chief. Says go. Because the right rear flat. And now they're going to wish that they had gone off the track a long time ago, because they're just now about to go back green. Now, when they do throw the green, all these cars will also re-enter the track at the same time. Green flag is back out. And the 69 is rolling. And Lawler's car is kind of rolling. Not really. Through the dirt. See a lot of debris right around that tractor tire. As mentioned, it's not a very giving part. Now we're not going to see much of turn one for the rest of this segment, but they are going to re-water the dirt. Try to help with the dust effect. Year later, the 169 machine of Ken Lugazonis. in these events, though, unless there's mechanical issues, which is very likely with these kind of cars, as we saw just at the green flag. Flat tires can certainly make you lose some laps. Oh, around goes the 69. Off the 23's front end. 69 and 23 look like they might be busted up. 69 gets back on track. 23 is leaning quite a bit. Maybe some broken in the front end suspension of that car. See Koch there trying to get it going. Or, as we sometimes see, maybe just waiting for somebody. Sometimes you start getting pushed around or dumped and you go, well, hey, I'm here to race just as much as you are. I'm not going to take that. Mechanical black flag. I believe that was, yep, to the right front flat tire, number 23. 74 slow on the front straightaway, locks up the brakes with Corey Carter. Nice avoidance. 311 maybe coming in for a pit. Nope, just working that high line momentum. 23 just kind of parked it. Lawler back on the track in the 57. So we did see the mechanical black come into play. And the 69 kind of stopped over in the dirt. The 27 pulls it back off the track after changing the right rear flat tire. Chadwick. In fact, we're looking at another Chadwick there, stopped the 69. 34 was pushed off, back on track. 311 gets turned on the front straightaway, back going forward. Well, it is busy out here. 49, Mike Wazowski. He's going to go find Sully in the pit area and get a tire change. Oh, contact. 69 hits the 88. See if there's retaliation. Oh, 7 goes around. Jose Palacios there on the front straightaway. Going the wrong direction. Now I wonder from the driver's seat how much this all affects. It's got to be hard to see. Oh, hard slam. Argo into the back of the 58. The 58 here, fun story. Oh, we got to stack up. And all these cars are going to get stuck. Corey Carter, the 117 of Hudson. We're back going. Most of them are back going. Red flag. All stop. And that's the risk you take with red flags. I think Argo asked me right before the event, he's like, hey, what's this receiver thing I keep hearing about? And I'm like, well, so you know if there's a red flag. And he goes, bah. I'm not calling you out, Rodney. I don't think I run them either, but that's why they suggest them, is so you know when to stop. And now Rodney has driven into the back of the 4 machine, another one of the Chadwicks on the racetrack. Now, right next to Argo is the 58 machine. That's Randy Hanna. Now, fun story about Randy here in the 58, and somewhere on track, over in turn number 3 it is the 52. The 52 was a student of the 58, Randy Hanna, an auto shop teacher who said, hey, let's put together a car for enduro racing. And the 52 now drives his own car, that being Robert Kleisner. And so kind of a team effort between those two, but kind of cool to hear. Hey, let's go racing at Willow Springs. And so they did. Taking a look around the racetrack to see why perhaps the red flag is out, or at least still out.
I'm thinking there ought to be some prize money for the highest place finisher that still has his bumpers left.
Highest place finisher that still has bumpers left. That's what you think we should have?
We should have prize money for that.
I don't think you're wrong.
No, I think it'd be great.
Another award that we've seen in events like this is the quote prettiest car award, which I would always root for the ugliest car to win that, and they never do. Underdogs. But yes, bumpers are at a premium out here, and drivers are running out of them. We're still in the first part of the 300 lap Enduro. Now, what I don't know is what lap we are on. If I had our monitor, I'd be able to tell you. But I'm too cheap. Let's see if we could get an update. The announcer called them green, but we still have officials on the racetrack. I don't think that guy's going to be very happy. Oops. Hey, I get it, though. He's as excited as I am. I talked to this guy, by the way. He was all excited. He's like, I'm Toe Mater. I'm like, you sure? We're on lap 36 of 300. Did you get him excited and told him to say go green?
It's lap 36. 169 is winning, followed by 19 and 9X.
All right. Well, I mentioned that 9X earlier, who was making a lot of moves. And the 19 machine is the driver we saw just rear-end somebody. That's Rodney Argo. Argo's had some success out at Irwindale Speedway. So, not too surprising. That's Jake Basham now in third in the 9X machine. The 9X is just to the left. There he is. 37 cars started. And we have about 5 left. 36 laps in. Oh, so the 19 is going to need a push. That's the driver in second. Toe Mater on the case. Coming on over. He says get her done, and here he comes. So Argo up to second, and I believe the biggest problem for Argo was coming across to take the red flag. Didn't get stopped in time and hammered the back end of the 4 machine of Daniel Chadwick. Lugazonis, the leader, which means Lugazonis has almost lapped everybody. Here's the 169. The 9X sits over here. That will end up being our second place machine of Jake Basham. If you think you hear cars drifting behind me, it is an illusion. Okay, you got me. There's cars drifting behind me. Here at Willow Springs, not only do they have a drift track, they got a motorcycle track, they got a dirt track, they got a big old road course. They got all the goods. Whoa! You have race monitor, and it works.
It works.
Dang. How do you have reception out here is the bigger question.
I spent a lot of money.
Oh, you smart man. Very nice. So, it looks to me like Ken Lugazonis is 7 laps ahead of everybody. So I lied when I said maybe they're on the same lap. Rodney Argo, who is on the same lap as the 9X, but Rodney is now getting pushed off the track. The 9X machine of Jake Basham in third, the 8 of Chris Smith fourth. And they are, let's see, Chris Smith's 8 laps back, and the 117 of Mike Hudson is 11 laps back. Same lap as the 44M of Mike Miller. So those are your top contenders. Thank you again. I'm just going to call this the all the support from Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse, man. Don't show up there with a tie because they'll cut it off. Or maybe that's why you show up with a tie, so they can cut it off. So the big thing now to watch here, update, is the 169 here. As we already have the 69 put in the tires, the 169 is your leader by a while. So unless something happens to Ken Lucazonis, we'll keep tabs and see what happens. That 302 machine, Gary Dion, a driver that Tommy and I are quite familiar with that name. Racing all sorts of fun stuff. Good to see Gary racing out here. So the 69 machine's still stuck, taking up quite a bit of this turn. Bryce Chadwick, red flag, red flag. Now the reason for the, oh, now we're turning cars again. The 4 machine there, Daniel Chadwick. Man, that's just not the corner for Chadwicks here today. But the big reason that they're going to be putting out red flags here is in any event that they feel a driver's safety is being put on the line. And a big thing to tell from that, oh, we have 2 drivers talking to each other. I guess Gary Dion took out Daniel Chadwick. Gary Dion's like, dude, I've been racing. It's quite dusty. But as I was saying, as far as the safety feature, they do not want a driver having his driver door sitting at oncoming traffic. So that's what happened here with the 69. So Bryce Chadwick going to get out of that scenario. Gary Dion right now looks like he's rolling around, maybe to the pit area. I know the Ford didn't hurt Gary Dion's feelings. I know that's not why he's pulling off. Still, some of our had some early exit cars. The 84 machine of Matt Durkee on lap 1, the 17 of Daniel Hudson, and the 24 never made it on track either of Sam Patel. So the driver who's the closest to our leader is the one right in front of us, the 9X, Jake Basham. Jake's sitting behind Hannah in the 58. Chadwick 69, you'll see there to the left, getting pushed off through the infield. So the reason this clock's up, by the way, this is how far we are into this. We're past the halfway point in time of the first part of this 300-lap Enduro. But I don't think we're past the halfway point in laps. What lap are we on?
Looks like 48.
Oh, we're almost there, though.
Almost.
We're right on tap. These drivers are going to make sure that they get all 3 hours out of this race. They don't want it to be a 300 lap. They want it to be a 3 hour.
It's not the quantity of racing, it's the quality of racing.
Amen. Amen to that. So as the time clicks on, we get ready to click back. It's not easy. Some of these cars overheat very easily. You almost want to keep them running. As Ken Lucazonis is our leader, 7 laps ahead of Jake Basham. Now up to 3rd is Chris Smith. Mike Miller 4th. The 10 of Mark Shackleford driving the Love Shack machine. It says here that he's on lap. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm dumb.
You're done.
I'm dumb. I was looking at the best laps that whole time. We do have drivers on the same lap. But who's counting? You didn't know that, folks. So actually, no. So we don't have an 8-lap difference between your leaders. Just kidding. So we do have cars still on the same lap. That makes this race a whole lot better. So here's your leader, Ken Lucazonis, the 169. Oh, we're hitting. We're banging. We're trading pain. We're pushing guys into the tractor tire. Well, now they've moved the tractor tire. How's that going to affect this? The 4 machine of Chadwick. Probably not going to be happy very much with the 26. Don't mess with Keith Murphy. Murphy had that one lined up for basically from the time they got out of the dirt. He's getting even more aggressive here in the dirt. Gonna end up arguing for track space quite a bit. 9X, where's our 9X? There he is going through the dirt right now. Second place. There's your leader, the 169. They are on the same lap. I will get a full correction on the standings here in a moment. We have acquired the ability to see race monitor. Oh, look at Lucas Zonis just zigzagging through the traffic. Up, the 4T4 getting turned. Here's Ken's machine. Some of these drivers are doing pair racing, so they got a relief driver. Not really a relief driver. Oh, black flag coming out to the 26. Probably for that move on the 4 machine. But he's a shark, man. You gotta respect the teeth. Well, bummer. The Demolition Derby. Oh, watch out. Watch out, infield. Black flag again displayed to the 26 machine. I think he's gonna ignore it. Oh, we got one car up and getting hit, the 11. What a moment that was. Black flag again to the 26. Jerry Burks going for a ride on the front straightaway. All good to go now, though. It's a black flag to the 27 now. Oh, and he goes for bumper tag on the 8. Now the 8 gonna come back maybe? I don't know. I see the black flag displayed and then I see them not displayed. So that was Matt Chadwick hitting the 8 machine of Chris Smith. Smith, 3rd place in this race. I'm so relieved that I was wrong earlier when I thought we had drivers 8 laps difference to the leader. See Michael Hudson pulling it in, the 117 machine. Had that front end damage that could cause some overheating. While these cars aren't necessarily built like your late model or cup cars where a little bit of front end damage might really hurt them, but front end damage could do something to the radiator. Oh, 26. Going for it. A bumper piece sitting here on the track. Oh, it's one of those nice little plasticky bits. There's your leader, Lucas Zonis. Closing up to driver who was in 3rd place at the time of the last red. Gary Dion's getting turned. Oh, and the 11 goes straight into the tire. And now this is in the middle of the track, red flag. And the 53 hits it. Red flag, watch out, red flag. And that's why they suggested receivers. I tell you what, I don't know what's more exciting, the green flags or the red flags. Well, unfortunately, I'm getting the feeling that the 11 machine of Jerry Burks got upset with Gary Dion, paid him back, said take that, and then got instant karma from that thing right there, the tractor tire. I told you that thing won't move a lot, but these drivers made me a liar. This thing moved nearly into turn number 1. "40 minutes into this first segment. I am pretty sure Burke's machine is done. Fluid coming out of the 11. The 53 also caught the tire. Dale Connors. What lap are we on? Do you know?
Race monitor down.
Oh, it went down. We're on lap 41 minutes. We lost race monitor. Well, returning to the racetrack is the 19 machine of Rodney Argo. This driver was up to second just prior to his big issues, which is an issue we saw this driver have just now. Trying to get a number on that machine. He probably doesn't want me to know his number, though. I should interview Gary Dion right now. He's just sitting right there. Hold up the mic and say, "Hey, Gary, why did you get spun out?" Tomater, man. There was never a tow truck like Tomater. And there never will be. "42 minutes in. We get to the 100 lap mark before the timer hits 60. We'll throw the red. I don't know who's having a crazier time, these kids or the drivers on the racetrack. As we get ready for the green to come back out into the air. Green flag. Looks like it was a 13 that may have also had a rear end moment. Getting busy down this back straightaway. Into the dirt. You're a leader. Lugazonis. Trying to get around Chris Smith in the 8 machine. Smith up there in the top 5. Oh, we got a bumper here on the front straightaway. A big bumper. You'll feel that when you go over it. Red flag's gonna come out for that. Now you see the 52 pulls to the side here because the red flag. All right, drivers are doing a little bit better with these red flags. They're gonna want that off the racetrack. Now, who did that belong to? They're telling the 52 to reclaim the whole pack that just drove by them. They're like, that's not fair. That's not fair for you. So go ahead. Go ahead and take up your positions. The 52 Robert Kleisner. Some smoke coming out of the 10 machine. Mark Shackleford. The Love Shack car. I think he also needs to turn on his defroster. So your leader, the 169. Second place, right on the other side of that pole, the 9X. 311 getting the push off the racetrack. So problems for David Van Rossum. All right. Lap 58. Excellent, sir. Thank you. Greg's got me covered. Our Lucas Onis leading the 9X in second spot of Basham. The 8 machine of Chris Smith. Probably, I think, the last car on the lead lap, and you can see how close he is to losing that lap. There's the 169, and there's the 8. Now, the 8 showed up here as an 88, but because he painted the numbers on, they're like, hey, why don't you let the other 88 have that number because it looks nicer. Now, you want to see it? There it is. This guy spent money and drove far, he says. So he's like, well, I deserve it. Couple cars pulling off the track, 117 and the 4T4. Fourth place right now is that number 10 machine. Danny French and Mark Shackleford sharing that ride today. And the 44M is in fifth. 44M of Mike Miller. There's Mike Miller's car on the back straightaway. The 10 was the one I just talked about smoking. That's your fourth place driver. Third place, Smith. Rodney Argo was having a good run early in this race until that front end damage came to bite him. These front wheel drive cars. If you're ever thinking about maybe, oh, this looks like fun, don't kid yourself. These things are not hard to put together. They're not expensive. These are cars that anyone and everyone can get behind. I mean, and it's also a great starting point for a lot of young drivers, too. As we go back to racing, Smith trying to keep Lucas Onis behind him. And another bumper that's about to fall off. There's the bumper. It belongs to your fourth place car, the 10. Shackleford. I don't know if that thing's going to stay on. In fact, I know it won't. That isn't the wonder. It's just when will it fall off. You got to wonder at this point, is Lucas Onis happy with where he is? Does he know, okay, I got the lead? He might not even know he has the lead, honestly. I think race control is going to try and update the drivers throughout the event whenever there's a red flag. Be like, all right, just in case you guys are wondering, here's your top 5. Smith has pulled away from Lucas Onis. That white car to your left, that's Smith. There he goes by the camera shot. And here's the 169 of Lucas Onis. Kind of in a Hornet's nest right now. 13 pulls it off the racetrack. So Dwight Kelly with issues. Saw that car have contact earlier. Oh, was that payback? Dion avoids the tire. How about 3 wide? Will that work? Oh, 09 goes around right in front of this pack. That's Pusky. Pusky on the back straightaway gets it going again. Back up to your leader, Lucas Onis, chasing down Smith. Oh, Smith working that outside line here through turn number 2 of the oval track. Oh, sideways! Nearly gets into Hannah. The biggest thing in these events is don't let something small define your whole race. Don't let a silly mistake be the thing that takes you out. Back on track, the 25 machine right in front of your leader, and off the track is the 27. So we gained Trey Melchers, and we lost Matt Chadwick. '21 having some issues here on the front straightaway. Some drivers get preoccupied. All their attention goes to the battle they're having for position, and they sometimes don't realize the car's having issues right in front of them. Allen Rath there in the 21. And right in front of your leader misses the inner loop turn. And honestly, he's losing quite a bit of time to Chris Smith. Smith's pulling away. 8 machines open up, a half-track advantage over the leader. So Smith might still be in contention for this. I think Gary Dion just hit the tire. You hear that bumper dragging on Shackleford. It's just a musical instrument for that number 10 machine right now. Hasn't fallen off. I'm impressed that the 11 of Burks is still out on the track. I really thought with all this fluid here on the front straightaway that there was no way. Nice save by the 25 of Roth. Jose in the 7 machine keeping it going. Got a little sideways, got turned. How about this? I think this might be a battle for second. Smith has caught up to the 9X of Basham. Oh, bumpers. Oh, Lawler gets turned by Burks. Lawler gets back on the track. Oh, and Burks hits the tractor tire again. I think that's a strategy. 5 tires are better than 4 if the 5th tire is the size of my car. 4 wide on the front straightaway. They made that work. Lucas Onis gets out of the Hornet's nest there. Burks off the pace after hitting the tractor tire again. I don't know if he's going to have to pull it into the pit area, but problems for that car. Oh, there's some contact. Sending the 34 wide. After bouncing off of the 25, Burks will pull it in. The 57 to Lawler back in. '27. Looked like that car just didn't want to turn. And the 09 gets stuck. Is that Smith? Smith, the A machine, 3rd place. After fighting off Lucas Onis and working his way over half a track advantage. Is stopped over in the turn, out of harm's way. Big problems for Smith. The 27, he's going to pull it back into the infield, or outfield. Angels are out there. Matt Chadwick. And it was Pusky also following out there. There goes Yoda. There's also a shark on the track. Uh-oh, well there was. A dinosaur named Rexy on the 52 machine. If you look at the tip, by the way, the roof number on that 52, that was made off of the 52's neighbor's chimney. Yeah. The more you know. Well, Smith pulled it into the pits. Lawler pulls it out of the pits in the 57. There's Lucasonis. Lap 78. We will not beat the clock on this one. So we will likely see the timer beat the lap count. Lucasonis continues the lead over the 9X. It is now the 44M machine who has moved up to third after the troubles for Smith. There's Yoda. Going for a ride. You see where the dirt's kind of maybe a wind change here, because now it's kind of hard to see over in this turn. But over here, I'm able to see again. So Mike Miller carrying Yoda up to third. The 10 of Shackleford remains in the fourth spot. So gained a spot, lost a spot, stayed in the same position. And the 58, Randy Hanna has moved up to fifth. Where's Hanna? I know he's out there. Black flag being displayed for somebody. Who's gonna get it? 23 machine. I guess they don't like the hood hanging off the front end like that. But why? Kind of a weird damage. So there you go. So mechanical black flag 13 also up the track. So Koch having to, well, eventually have to adhere to the penalty, or the mechanical black. 13 of Dwight Kelly pulls it off. Oh, and a right front flat tire for Johnny Troesch III. I don't know if he'll need a mechanical black to know he has a problem. Both these cars coming into the pit area. .311 was pushed off earlier. Back on track, and Gary Dion, the 4 hit the 4T4, and Gary Dion was kind of the, it was like the 4 was the pitcher, the 4T4 was the ball, and Gary Dion was the mitt. So 4T4 getting pulled off. The Troesch Dewar combo. 09 is trying to pretend, that's Pusky, trying to pretend like he has a bumper falling off, but it's the skin of the bumper dragging. You see the timer, 30 seconds left, but they're giving a 10 lap number. So maybe they changed their mind. Or they started the timer early. That's possible too. We've narrowed the field. Oh, there goes a wheel. It really was only a matter of time before we saw one of those go rolling. Trying to see who it is. But the tire might come back on. Oh, it's going the wrong way now. It's going to go work on my wall camera. Lucas Onis. So the clock has passed 1 hour, but I'm guessing that we're close enough that they're like, well, we'll just have them finish this out. The driver that's worked his way up into the top 5, Hannah, there in the 58. The auto shop teacher. 88 looks like he's running a GoPro. Oh, Lucas Onis almost hits the tractor tire. So they're going to take this opportunity once they red flag the race to water down the dirt. Kind of clean things back up, get everything in order, but they will not. They will leave the cars where they sit on the racetrack. This isn't going to be a restack, reline up, double file deal. It's going to be you stop where you are, and that's it. Something part of the bumper. And weird issue sounding for the 4 Chadwick car. It sounded like a flat tire, honestly. But it's not, there's no flat tire though. Curious to see what that is all about. Oh, just some, it looks like the right front's broken on that machine, or at least severely towed in. Several of these cars are worse for wear. Some of them are out. Still a good number of cars to compete for. Oh, you hit the tractor tire. The 9 machine said, I want to try that before the red flag comes out. Tony Gondola. Red flag, 100 laps in the books. Well, that was fun. And it's just really beginning. Thanks for all your help, by the way.
I'll go up there again. Yeah, I think we need to keep an eye on the 44M. I think he's cheating. He's got Yoda as a co-pilot today.
Yeah, you saw that?
And
wait. We got to really talk about this. You're saying the 44M has an advantage.
I think we're going to be looking at the 44M at the end of the race because he's got Yoda as the co-pilot. I don't know what the rules say about navigators, but I definitely believe that the Force is going to be with him today.
Yeah, and you feel like that's a clear advantage.
Oh, yeah, look at his car. He doesn't have a mark on it. Something's going on.
Well, I've even noticed whenever that car goes by, it's actually not on the ground. It's slightly floating.
Yeah, I think it's a hovercraft.
That's not fair.
It isn't. He should have to start at the back.
He should. Well, we'll see about that. Now, I was told these cars will sit where they are. Some of them are moving. But clearly, something to keep an eye on, if that car ends up in victory lane, was Yoda an advantage? And I feel like there's no way that isn't one. We shall see. So what do you think? Do you think I should keep my wall camera where I have it? It's over, it's way over there. Facing the dirt. Yeah.
This is our password for the wireless upstairs.
Oh.
That'll work.
It's upside down. That's how password it is. 13 machine getting removed. That was the car that lost a wheel, Dwight Kelly. And he's going to... Toe Mater's putting on a show right now. Trying to push the 49. I don't know if the 74 is having an issue. Shouldn't be. Ken Iannalfo. 311 getting pushed off the dirt. David Van Rossum. Someone's trying to start. Oh, and they got it started. I think it was Lawler in the 57X. Did it work for you? Oh, I'm nervous. 74 getting the push. I guess Ken Iannalfo was having an issue. Also known as senior. He told me the 49 is junior. And the 74 is senior. Water truck. Oh man, we got mud now. This is gonna be fun. They have watered down that area. Fun fact for everybody. I didn't see that trash can earlier, and I hit my hand against it, and my hand hurts now. And that's the pit report from Jeffrey Best here this weekend. Will we get more water in the turn? That's a question. So I mentioned this facility that's just behind us. They are drifting. We've seen a couple cars go flying off the course already today. In fact, there's one right now. So, drivers bringing out their cars to go drifting with, so it's a lot of fun. So what's cool about this is I definitely hope that this is an event that we see happen again next year. Good to see the car count, 37 cars, solid field that showed up here. Well, they're putting down more moisture. So that is going to be a slippery slope. The flattest slippery slope you've ever seen. But those cars are going to go into that turn, and I don't think any of them are actually going to turn. Which is great. Here we go. We're racing. Back at it. 100 laps to the next break, and then 100 laps to finish it off. I just got to see if these cars are going to be doing anything over in this area, because this is a whole new dynamic that they're going to have to deal with. The changing racetrack, and we're spinning cars out. Your leader gets spun out. Lucas Zonas says, who needs that turn? Lucas Zonas leading the way. Still has the advantage over the 9X machine going on the front strider right now, passing the 23. Koch, who has no hood now. We saw that thing trying to fall off. Oh, yeah, we're slipping inside. This looks like fun. This is an event that we drive these type of cars, and I would have loved to have been able to run something like this. 53 over here. Got spun out. Now just trying to right the ship. Dale Connors. Oh, there you go. Throw it in reverse. Oh, and off the pace perhaps? Nope. Hitting the gas again. Hanna, this 58 machine. Randy Hanna, driver in the top 5. Let's see if we can get a shot of the dinosaur, Rexy. There it is, there's Rexy. At the tip of the point. That is a dyno head in front of the 52. I asked why, and he said, well, we found a dinosaur toy. And that's all the reason I need. Sounds good to me. Oh, turn, turn, turn. They wrote a song about that. Turning. 69 spun out over in the turn. Now, I don't know if we have had any driver changes. Some of these cars do not like to turn in this mud, and that's going to be a product of the moisture until it dries out. Still decently warm here. We are sitting in the early stages of November. Second weekend of November, contact. Oh, payback. Gary Dion, Gary Dion, no! We just know that the 10 is the Love Shack. That's all we need to know. Look at this. No visibility for the 88, and around goes Jose. Perhaps off the bumper of the 49. 53 spun around again. Oh yeah, Smith was back out on track but pulls it into the infield. Up against the wall, the 311, we're 4 wide.
Oh, Yoda goes around. Yoda goes around.
Yoda! Yoda sensing some evil in turns 3 and 4. Watch out. Running out of room. Yoda's getting muddy. Now Yoda's mad. So we'll see what kind of composure Yoda's got. I love this shot. All these cars slipping through the mud. Some cars leaning on each other. The 7 around again, the 53. Almost hits Jose. Oh, he does hit him. Why not? Connors was just like, I'll do it. Take a look at your leader. 32 is way off the racetrack. I don't even know how he got out there, but that's Glass. Justin Glass. I don't know if he got turned or just drove straight through that corner, but he's having some pretty serious issues. 311 getting hit by the 4. So Daniel Chadwick helping that 311 of Van Rossum around, not in the way that Chadwick would have, or that Van Rossum probably appreciated. Back over to this corner. There's your leader. Lucas Zonas. Oh, watch out. Chadwick turned the 311 and almost hit the 311. This 57X has just struggled with mechanical issues throughout this event. Number of laps down, flat tire for the 25. And then you got this whole mess. Oh, 53 around in front of a pretty big pack. Can be a danger zone. Gets it out of there. So we got a little dirt track, we got a little asphalt, we got some road course. Everything you'd want. We got the wipers. Well prepped machines. 34 gets turned. That's Troesch, gets straightened out. Let's see if Chadwick has anything to say with at 26. Oh, 26 gets in the rear bumper. Chadwick goes wide. Remember the 13 lost a wheel. Lap 118 here on the 300 lapper. But it sounded heavy. I think we got a very broken number 23 machine. That left, I can tell you right now, he's not turning to the right. And the best part is, I think he's going to try and continue. He is. He's going to keep going. There ain't no stopping the 23. We're at lap 120. You ever have days like this? I mean, you just can't decide which way you want to go. Street sweeper. Wouldn't you know it that I think the 53 just got the black flag. And the 23 I think is gonna call it early there. So leading the way continues to be Lucas Zonas. Got a couple cars just kind of sitting and stuck. I think that's Gary Dion. The 304. Here's the 9X. Second place on the field. And he's trying to chase down this driver. Ken Zonas took the lead early, has held on to it from the get-go. There's a lot more mud now on the front straightaway, as you can see in dirt. Some contact. Kind of looking through the field. Dion gets away. Dion's in the wall over here. I don't know what's going on, but Gary Dion just hit the wall in that straightaway. You can see, I did not anticipate we'd see anyone hit these walls. Maybe on this side of the track, but not that side. Oh, some disagreement here, which will probably lead to some, watch out! Broken suspension parts. In the walls, the 88. It's getting slick out there. It was Richard Selph, who maybe, I'm seeing, we have his hand in a paper here that says 88X is in third. The only 88 I know is this one right here, was the one we just saw hit the wall of Selph. I don't know. Fourth place. We saw the 44M machine spin it out of Miller. Red flag, red flag. That's an all stop. Some of these cars are starting to look like they're hurting. Is that an 88X? Cool. 88X. Selph. I'll go ahead and give you that. Thank you. That guy right there. That guy is the guy. Is the man. Really making a lot of this going good. Was that 180 I just heard? 180 laps to go. Here in the SoCal 300 laps of Enduro cars. All these people watching drifters or, motorcycles going around. Man, if they're on this facility and they're not here, I pity the fool. Well, the 26 is going to be brought into the pit area. Keith Murphy, Lugazonis, and Basham. So again, it is a hour or 100 laps, whatever we get to first. Lugazonis there on the front straightaway, the leader of this one. Waiting for them to decide what will happen here if we're going to go back to racing. Oh, so it looks like the officials are starting to go on the track. Maybe figure out who else needs a hook or a push. The 311's been sitting over on the turn for a while, as well as the 23. What I love is that you can hear the drivers talking, going, what the heck's going on? So it's sounding like we have about 30 laps left in this segment. If we don't complete, it will be timed. Top 10? You're overachieving.
I know, right? I don't even know the top 10. That's the after.
Lap 130. So 170 laps to go in this one. Our top 10, the 169 of Ken Lugazonis continues to lead as they do push that 311 machine. So Van Rock finally is going to lose his good seat. And the 23 walking down the front straightaway. That car also done early. That was the driver that was trying to lose his hood earlier of Danny Koch. Tomater. Second place right now is the 9X machine of Basham, the 88. X machine in third of Selph, 44M of Miller, fourth. Fifth is the 58 of Randy Hanna, hanging in there in the top five. Then the sixth place car is the Love Shack, the number 10. The 52 machine of Robert Kleisner, so a good run for that team, the 52 and the 58 teammates. hanging out there, both in the top 7. 8th place, the 49 M machine of Jefro Blalock. Then we got the 4 of Daniel Chadwick and the 7 of Jose Palacios. So Jose has been getting turned left and right in this one, but not giving up, and that's kept that 7 machine up in the top 10. The 4 of Chadwick we see sitting here on the front straightaway. The car is either turning or it's got a toe-in issue. A lot of these cars dealing with that. Seen multiple cars starting to break suspension pieces, bending those up. I've driven these type of cars for years in multiple types of events, including Enduros, skid plate races, demolition derbies. They do not quit easily, and that's one reason why people love running these things. And there's so many of them out there that it's either easy to replace the car or replace parts on the car. Chris Smith returns to the track. The 8 machine has fallen out of the top 10 with his mechanical woes. I believe we still have 2 cars on the lead lap. The 169 of Lucas Onis, who's dealing with this lap traffic in front of him, which is Lawler. Chadwick has a flat right front tire. It was up just a minute ago during the red flag. Of course, it's going to go down right after we go green. So Chadwick's going to have to get that changed. That driver was sitting in the top 10, 9th place at the time of the last red flag. It's going to help the 7 machine move up a spot. There's Basham, 2nd place, 9X. So now we've really started to slip on the field. Uh-oh. 09 stuck over in the corner. Jared Puskarich gets it going. Pusky. Oh, he clipped him. He clipped the 4T4, the Troesch Doer special. Back up front, Lucas Onis has a half-track lead exactly over the 9X of Basham. Oh, but Basham gets into it with the 49. Jefro, who's sitting there, it was in the 8th spot. So Jeffro's up there racing hard for some good position as well. Blalock. Solely on the hood, solely on the door. Now Basham's actually lost some time to your leader. Here's the 169 for reference, and there's the 9X. Basham has lost some of the advantage he had over the leader. And worse for him is Lucas Onis has one more lap, 2 lapped cars in between him and the 9X. Where Basham has a lot of lap traffic to deal with, Lucas Onis is about to clear one of the last cars in between him and them, but the 53 is holding him off. So Dale Connors is kind of helping out the 9X unintentionally. Kleisner in the 52 machine, a driver up in the top 10. Having a good run here today. Carrying the chimney, and we got a red flag out on the racetrack. This might be a debris-related caution. Now, I didn't notice at the time, but the 44M machine of Miller had pulled it into the pits, and that is a big deal because the 44M up in the top 5 was 4th at the time of our last red flag. Looking to see where they're going or who they're dealing with, but the red flag did come out. Maybe debris over in the dirt where we don't have a great vantage point. I'm counting 20 cars that are still on track, so more than half that started continuing, as we're just past the halfway point in this event. Thank you very much.
Like a race from the past here with all the mud.
Yeah. It's a throwback. This track deciding if it wants to be a dirt track right now. They allowed the drivers to go out on the track earlier in between the heat races that ran for the Mini Dwarfs and the Bandoleros. They said, hey, if anyone wants to go out there and try to get some rocks out of the surface, you see some big boulders or anything, feel free to do it. It probably won't make much of a difference, but go ahead and do it if you feel like it. So some of the drivers taking part in that. I'm pretty sure it just turned into a dirt ball fight, but some of the drivers. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the drivers started putting more rocks on the track, pulling some pebbles out of their pockets. 9 car going to the pit area there. Tony Gondola. Some birds in the infield. They got some good seats. How fitting it would be if the birds started playing a game of chicken. Well, some updates. Teams that I'm surprised ended up struggling here today. Definitely, I don't see them now. Maybe they've moved the car. But the Hudson team, 117 and 17, Michael and Daniel Hudson out early. Daniel didn't even start the race. Michael lasted just past the 100-lap mark and ended up pulling it in. Perhaps the overheating issue may have damaged the radiator on that one with the front end damage that he had. Hood buckled up. So that was a team. When I rolled in, I kind of pointed at them as, well, they're probably at least down on the favorite side. Now, where that team really has it is when they do these Enduros out at tracks like Irwindale Speedway. There's a speed factor to it. Same on a smaller side, but still I'd say it's kind of there with a track like Orange Show. Oh, we spun a car out. Drift car spun out. What happened there, Greg?
I think he ran out of talent.
I know how that feels. So, when those cars, the 117, the 17, are cars that definitely kind of have the speed factor down. But this is a very, very much an equalizer type of racetrack. I mean, you got dirt. It's a very small track, and there's not a lot of speed. It's all about maneuvering. And really, Daniel Hudson didn't get an opportunity to show what he could do in this race. I would have liked to see where things kind of sorted out. A lot of cars coming back on the track from the pits, which means we're going to be more than 20 cars racing. 9X, I don't know if he was one of the cars that had pulled off, but definitely back here. Now look, you see the speed bump that these cars look like they're going over. Uh-oh, one of the cars that came back on track is now trying to restart. Trouble for the 25 of Melchers. Oh, and Melchers got hit. As a driver, this is one of your biggest worries, is having your car stall out in the racing groove. You're just waiting to get rear-ended. Red flag will come out to help Melchers get out of the way. It is a very uncomfortable feeling. The 311 back on track, by the way. A couple of the cars that did fall off. Let's see if we can update those. 311 of David Van Rossum Saw that car sitting over in the final turn in the dirt pack and got stuck for a while, and that car's back on track. What's up?
You know, this is really turning out to be a crew chief's type of racetrack. You know, turn 1 and 2, we've got the super speedway, kind of like Daytona, and then down in turn 3 and 4, it looks more like Eldora.
That's right. That's quite a setup, kind of chess game for especially those crew chiefs. You know, they're really trying to nail down the Daytona turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, I really don't think the drivers have any idea what the crew chiefs have in store for laps 200 to 300.
Yeah, and not to mention the front straightaway here is completely like you're totally dealing with like a Dover front straightaway.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the banks in the turns, the radius of the turns, it's really going to be exciting at the end.
Yeah, this track, the banking is very close to Daytona and Talladega. I don't have a number, but I know it's within 360 degrees of each other. I'll even go further to say it's probably within 90. But very, very good point there. Good call that the crew chiefs have to be kind of scratching their heads right now, figuring out how they want to set up these cars for the last 100 laps of this race. And comes in the thing of, is fuel mileage going to come into play?
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, really, we haven't talked enough about the tire guys. The tire guys are really, you know, they're on the ball. They're in the tower. You know, the spotters are talking to them, which tires they're going to use, how much stagger they're going to put in them, you know, whether they're going to use new stickers or scuffs. I mean, there's just all kinds of options.
Yeah, absolutely. We did actually have a conversation happen in the drivers' meeting regarding fuel. They told the drivers, if you come in for gas, turn off your cars. Just like you're told at the gas pump. They said it is a safety issue. Do not fill your car while it is running. I don't know how many of those guys are going to abide by that rule, because these guys think that they're pulling into their cut pit stops right now, and they're going to get a 4-tire change and some fuel and maybe a drink.
I'm thinking a couple of them are going to need a cigarette or two, too.
There was a guy who was smoking in his car. I asked him if he was going to smoke during the race, and he said he forgot his open-face helmet.
Well, I think we have enough smoking in the cars already without the cigarettes.
That's true. Some of these guys, their lungs are feeling it right now. Lucas Onis, the leader of the 169 machine, sitting there on the front straightaway. Things have been going just fine for Lucas Onis. Basham hanging in there as well in the 9X. Good runs for both those cars. Do we know if those two are still on the same lap?
They are.
They are on the same lap, and that's how I like it. It means we got quite the race in our hands. Both those drivers on screen right now, as well as Tow Mater. When the driver of this tow truck introduced himself, he didn't tell me his name. He just said, "I'm Tow Mater." And I felt like that's all the information I ever needed. Now, admittedly, when I came out here, I didn't think I was going to feel like I went to a dirt track today, but that's because I just purely forgot about the dirt half of this. Kind of cool that they kind of have the option to run the dirt portion of a track like this.
Well, it really makes it exciting. What's really going to happen now that the sun is starting to set, we're going to see the drivers really have to be challenging in turn 3 and 4 with that sun hitting them right in the eyes. How's that going to work out?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you from experience, I hate looking at the sun. It's no fun. I don't know how many guys brought their sunglasses with them, but yeah, they don't have a lot of options. Plus, if you look on the windshield, you talk about visibility being an issue. Look at the 169 right now. That windshield is covered in dirt. Now, yeah, he can see, but add in the glare from the sun, add in all these other factors, and visibility is at a premium.
Well, I think the extra mud on the front end is really adding to his front downforce and really getting him to turn in the middle of that corner.
Strategy.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. See, that's why we have to keep an eye on all these crews, man. The fans, they say, how can this not be caught in pre-race tech? But it's just the crew chiefs are so sneaky. That's what they do.
What I really want to know is, as the sun's going down, how the track is going to change once we go to all lights and the cool temperatures.
My question is, how cold do you think it's going to get?
Really cold.
So I should have brought my jacket.
You should have.
Hey, we all make mistakes, right? I tend to make more than others. 69 was just pushed. I don't know if he was stuck, but he's driving right now. kind of restarting himself. That's Bryce Chadwick in that 69, warming up his tires. Now, one thing that you sometimes see with these cars when red flags do come out is some drivers will opt to drive in a circle to try and keep air going to the motor in case of a fan failure or whatnot. It's actually one of the most dangerous parts for these cars, not safety-wise, but danger as far as not continuing, is shutting a car off when the car's running hot. You don't want to turn these cars off if you can help it. Now, as we slim down the field, I think speed is going to be something we're going to see picking up in this event. Basham has gained quite a bit of time on the Lugazonis since the last time we updated it. There's the 9X. But look at the mess in front of the 9X machine. Good luck getting through this and not losing any time. Lugazonis already taking advantage. I mean, Basham literally has to work his way through about, I think, 10 cars, 15 cars, just to get to the 169. Oh, man, hold on. Now, these cars taking very different lines. Some going really wide, some going into each other, some trading paint, some denting doors. Basham really hasn't been in a hurry to start tackling this lap traffic, maybe playing it a little bit safe, but needs to start trying to make up ground here on Lugazonis. Gets to the inside of glass in the 32. It's a plastic bumper cover that's on the track and getting thrashed. Here's your 9X. Getting past Lawler in the 57. Closing in on Miller in the 44. We'll see where that car sorts out after pulling it into the pit area earlier. Basham doing a good job right now, kind of working through. Looks like the 7 of Jose Palacios got stuck up against the tire. Was able to continue. This 4 machine of Chadwick's had an up and down day. The car's fast and then something's wrong, and then it's fast again and something goes wrong. Still hanging there just in the top 10. You see the hood bounce on that 4. That's another thing, is front end damage to these hoods. You don't want a hood flying up on you during the race. That will definitely bring you to pit road. Basham working his way through. A couple cars getting connected. The Basham crew cheering on their driver. Now that 4, that hood might pop up at some point. You notice the slant down on the front end of it. That's either from damage or the crew did it, so air is less likely to get under the hood. Halfway, we are 150 laps into this event. It was Blalock's nose that we saw getting run over in turn number 1. There's Lugazonis. And there's Basham. Focusing a lot on this 9X. This is your nearest driver to catch your leader. Dirt starting to dry out again. My throat can feel it. Some contact on the front straightaway. Come on, 69. Come on. Oh, Basham. Fine there with Connors in the 53. Just ahead of him is a 3 wide with glass in the 32. Just past the halfway point, it is Lugazonis leading over the 9X of Basham. In third, now is the 10 of the Love Shack. Baby. And a mechanical black flag being given to the 58, was it? That's Hannah in that 58 machine, and a driver who is in 5th place. And the mechanical black is for this right here. Left rear flat tire, glass pulling in also in the 32. And the 69 is stopped now over in the corner, Bryce Chadwick. So that'll shake things up. 88X in 4th. 6th place, the 52 machine. Robert Kleisner going there on the front straightaway. Being chased down by Basham. The 7 has kept it up there. Seven and 8th right now of Jose Palacios. And in 9th, the 44M of Miller. There goes Miller right there. Remember, Miller was a driver who was up in the top 5 earlier and off the pace now, the 21 machine with a mechanical problem. Allen Rath. Car just shut off. Sometimes these cars have issues with battery cables. We've seen a lot. Battery cable maybe pops off and the car tries to run on its own power but eventually dies out. Battery issues are common problems for these cars. Sometimes in these older beat up cars you'll have wiring that's maybe faulty. Kind of hard to check, but there's the 169 and here's the 9X. Basham's now on the same side of the track as Lucas Zonas on the same straightaway barely as Rath tries to get this 21 machine to the pits. I don't know if it's going to make it. But Lucas Zonas, I don't know if his car's going slower or he's feeling comfortable with where he's at. Jose Palacios, this car seems to struggle on acceleration, which could be an issue we need to keep an eye on. Oh yeah, we're beating and banging. Still beating and banging. In fact, a left front flat tire for Jose Palacios. Another car in the top 10 that will probably eventually get a mechanical black flag once the officials realize that. If he doesn't pull it in first. Here's the Lucas Zonas. And here's Basham. 9X is coming. The 7 car has pulled in for the flat left front tire. Tire change going on. Now in a long endurance race like this, there's still a chance to get that car back on track and hold maybe a top 10 spot. He was right on the verge of it though. 58 is back on track. You could tell which tire was the one. Basham is coming. To the left is Lucas Zonas on the back straightaway. To the right is Basham. He gets held up by the Love Shack machine, the 10. Will we see a lead change before this? Second of 3 legs of the Enduro is complete. Basham hanging in there. .44M, Miller. Mechanical black flag being shown to look like to the 44, and it's because of this right here, the exhaust is hanging on that car, or I should say dangling. See the muffler there riding along as he nearly gets spun out. They don't want that falling off and potentially ending someone's race. There's your leader, Lucas Zonas. Here's second place Basham. Basham did a lot of work to catch Lugazonis and hasn't really been able to do much in the last 5 laps or so. I say that, but Lugazonis still having issues. 4T4 is going to have to pit anyways because now it's a right front flat tire in addition to what's dangling on that car. You see how much it's laning on the right front. Oh, that car's just going to do that. He wants to watch the race. It is a good one, I admit. Oh, are we gonna spin out? We're trying. We're doing our best. Oh, payback. 25 and it's Love Shack getting into each other. 53 had an issue down the back straightaway. Love Shag looked like that car kind of hopped out of gear, and that allowed the 9X to get around. One car sits between first and second place. Lugazonis leading over Basham in the 9X. Here's Lugazonis' car. Did Yoda fall off?
I think Darth Vader took him out.
Oh no, we have an update. Something happened to Yoda.
I saw Darth Vader yank Yoda right out of the car.
Oh, the dark side. Yoda's gone. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, Yoda is on the racetrack. I don't know why that doesn't bring out the red flag.
Well, you never know. Look, I think he's still moving.
Oh, poor Yoda. There he is. Unbelievable. Turn of events here tonight. Oh. 9X passing the 9. That's Basham getting around Gondola. Lugazonis just passed the 09 machine. I tell you, look at how much of a dip. It's like a rally race over there. The 9X Basham gets around the 09, and there is nobody between first and second. Here they are on track. Lugazonis leading over Basham. 3 wide in front of the leader. That's going to woe him up a bit. Goes around Lawler. Your 2 cars battling it out, the red machine and the blue machine. 169 versus 9X. Now with very little radio communication, if none, in some of these drivers' cases, you gotta wonder if Lugazonis doesn't realize that second place is behind him, and when he hears the radio communication that he's no longer the leader, he might actually push it harder. Find out, oh, the 9X passed me, huh? Granted, when you are the leader, you don't get passed a lot anyways. These 2 drivers just going at it, putting on a good show for the fans. I think that dip's been getting worse and worse. Over in turns 3 and 4. See the drivers working their way through. It's going to be a lot of lap traffic for these leaders to deal with. So now if you're Basham, do you kind of hide? You're like, oh, I think I'm the better car. Maybe don't let Lugazonis know where I am. Or you take the lead and try and gap them. I'd imagine as a race car driver, you want to gap them. You don't know what's going to happen in this race. You don't know if you're going to need that extra time. Maybe you're going to get a flat tire during a caution, and those few extra minutes pace in the field could make a difference. But they're both going to have to deal with all this. There's a lot of lap traffic here. A couple of the cars in the top 10 in that mix. You have the Basham cheering squad right in front of us. A little bit of e-brake being used on the 169. One car slow in front of your leaders. It's Troesch. Basham looks to the inside, not able to make a pass. 32 of Glass off the pace. He's going to pull it just off the track. Remember the 4T4 parked in the infield earlier. That car's out of that area. Likely in the pits. Glass gets it to the pits. Mention the 3 wide in front of the leaders. Look at this group. Oh, yeah. And here they are. First and second. Lucas Onis makes a power move to the inside of Connors in the 53. Basham narrowly gets by. '57 gives room to the leaders, but look at this, the 49 up in the top 10. Jefro Blalock, he's giving some trouble to Basham. Basham's like, oh no, you gotta be kidding me. I just passed all these cars, how can I be getting past? But the 49 is fast, has just had some issues. Some mechanical problems that have sent the car in the pits. Basham into the rear bumper of the 169 of Lucas Onis. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to hurt something on your car trying to get around the leader only to send you back in the pits. The Love Shack car's got a problem. I'd say that car's struggling with steering. T4 back on the racetrack. Troesch Doer. It's one of those drivers. Saw Johnny Troesch Jr. in the pits earlier. And there it is. Basham takes the lead. And Lucas Onis almost gets spun. Like Blalock. Now it's a matter of, okay, you got the lead. Don't have something weird take you out. Trouble in front of your leaders. They squeeze. Basham nearly gets turned into the tractor tire. And I don't even know what's going on here. 09 gets dumped. Lucas Onis gets hit from both sides. Hits the 57 of Lawler, then runs into Troesch the third. The 34 machine. Things going from bad to worse for Lucas Onis as Basham has taken the lead. This car over here, the Love Shack machine, that driver was up in the top 5 as Basham has contact with Blalock. Blalock's really giving a lot of trouble to these leaders. And Basham, sideways, almost spins it out. This is allowing Lucas Onis to close back in. Here comes the 169. And Lucas Onis is going to try something. He goes to the outside. Oh, that's not going to work. He nearly runs into the 69 and loses a bunch of time. Now look at the gap from first to second. Lucas Onis tried to make something happen, and that's one of those moves where as a driver you sit back and go, why did I do that? But at the time, you knew you had to make something happen. 5 laps left in this second of 3 segments. 195 laps down. It will be 100 laps to go when the red flag comes out. Oh, and in front of Lucas Onis, they stack up 2 cars, the 53 of Connors and the 25 machine of Melchers. Big gap between first and second now, considering that we only just saw the lead change. Oh, Blalock gets turned. And he's just going to go the wrong way on the racetrack. Watch out. Enduro. Oh, Lucas Onis on the outside, sideways. He's used to driving a little bit in the dirt. 49's driving mad now. Blalock. Mike Wazowski. Machine. Oh, 4T4 just ran into the 69. 69's like, I've been sitting here for 75 laps. And there it is, red flag. Lap 200. And right when it happens, the 53 gets turned, the 49 goes somewhere. Red flag, lock him up. 57 might have hit the wall. Lucas Onis has bad brakes. At least that's what he'll tell you. 4 machine getting pushed off. Daniel Chadwick. I like this this method of pushing cars off. Now this is interesting. Basham, the leader, is pulling into the pits. Could it be for gas? But I don't see anyone else making that move. The guy who just took over the lead. So now it's going to be interesting to know how they score that one. 200 laps in, 100 laps to go. It's been a wild one.
Oh, it certainly has. You know, I'm really disappointed. You know, Yoda's strategy for the race, you know, hanging out the window, waving at the crowd, you know, at 150 laps, his arms just couldn't take it anymore. You know, he's lost a lot of stuffing. I don't even think they're going to take him to the infield care center. Oh, look at that. Now they're just dumping him. So his day is done. But, you know, Jeffrey, I was up in the spotter stand talking to all the spotters, looking at their strategy. These guys are all huddled together right now. You know, they're trying to figure out what's going to happen with 20 laps to go. You know, the aero package they got on these cars today, they're looking for partners to draft with. So it's going to be really exciting with 20 laps to go.
Well, yeah, and as we know, the tapered spacer that they run in these cars, it does that a little bit, knocking down a little bit of the horsepower, which means that the draft does come into play.
Well, yeah, and the numbers on the top of the cars, you know, so is the TP going to work? Is the triangle going to work? I mean, we just don't know what's going to happen at the end of the race once they start pairing up.
That's right. All these crew chiefs always looking for an advantage when it comes to just about anything. I imagine in NASCAR, if they ran the same roof plates, you'd hear about them every week. Some guy trying to do something, getting sneaky with their templates. But we'll see as they clean this up and get ready for the last bit of this Enduro. All right, this is it, folks. The final 100 laps of this SoCal Enduro 300. We're racing back on track. Comes Basham. Lucas Onis in the 169. I do believe is in second. I only say I do believe because, I mean, that makes sense to me. Now, your top 10. The time of the red, the 9X, Basham, the 169, Lucas Onis, the 88X of Selph. See that car, I haven't really been able to look at it a lot. They rewater the track over in the turn, so we're mudding it up again. 4th place is the 52. That driver's kept it consistent, kept it on track, and is right now getting a lot of love from behind. That is Robert Kleisner. And rounding out the top 5, the 49M machine of Jefro Blalock. So that's why you see Mike Wazowski going so crazy, is because he's right now finding himself our top 5, but what happens? Something happens with the 49 right when we put the camera on him. Oh, look at that. Steering broke on the 49. Right when we were talking about that car being up in the top 5. 6th place, the 58 machine of Hannah. 44M machine of Miller. In 7th, 8th is the 10, the Love Shack, but that's not going to last because that car's sitting right over here with no driver in it. 8th is the 9, the regular 9 of Gondola. And rounding out the top 10 is the 53 machine of Dale Connors. Change of events here in the top 5. With Blalock sitting there in the back straightaway, not able to turn. Now we'll take that car out of the top 10. 7 of Jose Palacios fell out of the top 10, but might be able to regain that spot after this. Lucas Onis there behind Gary Dion in the 302. And they're going to have some contact. Oh, Troesch might have a... That is a right front flat tire. That car... it's very easy to tell those flat tires when the dirt goes flying off the side of that car. It's a pretty good sign usually. Turn. Johnny Troesch III, son of Johnny Troesch Jr. Let's see if we can recognize if this is Johnny Troesch driving the 4T4 at the moment. Still not certain. He was wearing, it looked like he was ready to paint earlier. Wearing a lot of white. So let's get this kind of restacked here. The 9X machine is, oh yeah. Sorry, I'm too excited. 9X of Basham is leading, but look who's closing in from behind. The 169 of Lucas Onis is catching back up to Basham. We're going to have another battle for the lead. There's no scoreboard on the track. In this day and age, though, Race Monitor is a common tool that a lot of people use. You can follow along on Race Monitor for these events. So I'm saying there's options if you ever do come to this track. Speedway Willow Springs, a track that's been kind of comes and goes and has been in a lot of different sort of scenarios. I used to watch racing here back in the day. Over in the turn. When I was a kid, I'd come out here. I remember all the street stock races and whatnot. It's been a real good time out at this track. Then it sat kind of dormant for a while. Some racers that love to race said, you know what, let's get this track going again. And Speedway Willow Springs out here in Rosamond, California. They put on a nice little show here. It's always a good time. If you can, check them out. Speedway Willow Springs. That's the only thing that's confusing to me is it's Speedway Willow Springs, not Willow Springs Speedway. I think back when I used to come here, it was called Kern County Speedway, maybe? No, it was called, I don't know. It had a name. It had the word Kern in it. So whenever anyone talks about going to KCRP or Kern County Raceway Park, sometimes I get flashbacks to this place. Well, there's your battle for the lead. Basham has Lucas Zonas on his rear bumper. And he's going to do this again. Try the outside line. Will it work in his favor this time? Not so much, but at least he's... Oh, it will work! Look at this! The 58 holds up your leader, Basham. And Lucas Zonas makes the move to the outside to retake the lead. And now Lucas Zonas is threading the needle. It's go time for the 169. Basham cannot afford to lose a lot of time to the 169 machine. Lap traffic does get hard to work through. Lucas Zonas dared to go on the outside. It didn't work earlier. He dared it again. Maybe figured out what didn't work from the first time and did it again. As the 13 almost goes head on in the wall. It held on to that car. Watch new leaders work their way back into the dirt portion of this track. Dwight Kelly racing right around them, the 13 machine. That driver lost a wheel early in this race. Usually that spells the end of your night, but not here, not in the SoCal Enduro. Dwight Kelly was the car who almost went head on in the wall, and now Miller gets in the back. Look at all this lap traffic for Lucas Zonas. How will this affect your race? How will this affect who wins this race? And again, I want to just give a super big shout out. Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse, Greg out here, he's been so helpful to keeping things kind of intact with who's running where outside of the top two and the lap count and whatnot. So again, Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse, not only excellent for eating, but excellent people, always helping out the racers. Last year at a figure eight race, they actually, one of the figure eight drivers came out from Indianapolis in Orange Show Speedway, Dwight Kelly, flirting with the wall. And a driver got broken into his car, and he had a lot of money stolen as we battled for the lead, by the way. Oh! Lucas Zonas slips through the middle to get away from Basham. But just to finish off that story, so they said, those guys at Pinnacle Peak said, no way, no, we got to help you out, and they did. And just a real good group of people helping out racers across Southern California and being very supportive of the racetracks. So again, if you can, go get yourself a steak. Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse. 75 laps to go. Lap 225 on the board. And Lucas Zonas leads over Basham. Basham starting to get aggressive. He pushes the 52. The 52 comes back up the track. Hits Basham. Basham sideways. Gets hit in the wheel area. Will that damage the 9X? That is not what Basham needed. Everyone on this track, they're out there for the same real estate, and that's something that can't happen. Basham felt like he had to make the move, had to try and get up and slip by some of those drivers as soon as he could. 88X machine right now closing in. I don't know if this is for position, but the 88 is the driver in third. And if it is for position, then we got 3 cars on the lead lap. 88 may be 1 lap down. I'll try and verify that when I can. 52 machine of Kleisner up to 4th. 5th place, 44M machine of Miller. This is why we say you don't give up. This driver had to pull it into the pits. Got back on track. He's back into the top 5. And he is flying that 44M machine, looking good. Shame he lost those laps when he did. Could have been in contention to win this thing. 58 of Hannah, sitting in the 6th spot. 7th place, the number 9 machine of Gondola. Eighth place, the 53 of Dale Connors. So Connors, perseverance working out for this 53 car. Hanging in there. He's been spun around, black flagged, I think, a time or 2. And he's now up in the top 10. 9th is, how about this? The 9th place car is now the 09. Pusky. And the 21 shut off again on the front straightaway. So Pusky, and then the 49M of Jefro Blalock, who's sitting back there just losing spots as the laps tick by. The 21 machine of Allen Rath sitting there on the front straightaway. This car shut off earlier. It's having a similar problem. Could be a battery-related issue. All right, let's update this. Here's Lucas Onis. Having a solid ride. Now these results, when they do come out here today, are going to be unofficial. They will go back and reference and make sure there weren't any transponder issues. So the results are going to be official until not official. Basham to the inside of Connors. He's going to hit Connors. And Connors didn't look happy about that. And that explains it. Connors hit the 9X into the 57 of Lawler. Connors is like, dude, I'm here to race just like you are. And honestly, I've driven in Enduros. I've gotten hit from behind when I feel like I'm given room, and I've done the exact same thing. I don't care if you're leading or in last place. If I feel like you gave me a hard time, I'm going to give you one. That's what we saw there. Lucas Onis leading over Basham. So Basham's really struggled here in this portion of the race. Still in second. Still having a great run. But the sun is going down, and so are the chances to catch this driver right here. Lucas Onis in the 169. As the 9X. Basham works his way to the inside of Pusky. Lucas Onis, I think, just got hit by the 44M machine of Miller. Well, he definitely got hit that time. So there is that. Miller trying to fight back, gain one of his laps back. Basham there. I mentioned the 88 caught up quick to the 9X, but now has lost a lot of that time. That car just does not sound like it's moving. Oh, in fact, I see why. The whole left rear suspension is just dangling on that thing. That looks like a derby car hit it in that section of the suspension. Gary Dion with steering issues. He didn't mean to drive it over there. That's just where the car took him. Dust starting to fly. Lucas Onis, he's into the 4T4. You don't want to spin someone out and get stuck behind them. Oh, 4T4, hold on. Miller is glued to Lucas Onis' bumper. You don't want to get forced into a tractor tire if you're the leader. Every time the 4T4 goes through the corner, I think it's spinning out. It's not for position. 44M machine was last scored in 5th. Almost got the tractor tire. Miller's all over the rear bumper of Lucas Onis. He's giving him a hard time. You can imagine Lucas Onis right now is going, who is that back there? Some of these cars don't even have mirrors. In fact, maybe all of them don't have mirrors. I don't know if that's a rule. They did tell the drivers in the drivers meeting, unless you're to the door and you know that the driver can see you on the inside, you do not technically have position. 88 had a good run throughout the day, but looks like left rear suspension problems. And the 44 hits him! Nice save by both drivers. It's a battle of survival. Who can survive the best? Whoever can do that goes to victory lane. And this driver right now has been doing it the best, but that car's getting quieter and quieter. Right now, these engines, you know, they're just getting tired. They're asking, what the heck happened? What's going on? Some of these cars came out of junkyards. Now you start figuring out what's actually wrong with them. 9X of Basham in second spot and is losing a lot of time right now to Lucas Onis. Unless Lucas Onis has a problem, I don't foresee Basham taking this one over. Now the halfway sign is being shown. That's the halfway sign for this segment. Lucas Onis right now, you're in a good spot. You don't want to risk it. You also don't feel like you could ever ride in one of these. Gotta feel good to have a car like his though. Just working your way around cars. Miller's sideways. Looks like that Lawler machine has some speed again. Maybe fix whatever was going wrong with it. Lucas Onis, though, is on a mission right now and might end up putting the 9X a lap down. There's Basham. There's Lucas Onis working that outside line like we've seen him work throughout this race. Less than 50 laps to go. Still a good number of cars on the track. I really didn't know if this was going to be a kind of a drop like flies type of event. But these cars and drivers have really kept it up. Miller's back to Lucas Onis' rear bumper, by the way. They're tandem drafting. There's the 169, there's the 9X, second place. If that car were to go lap down, which is looking likely, it's gonna possibly sink any hope Basham had of winning that. But it's not done till it's done. Lucas Onis has to finish this race. And any kind of odd, maybe the car's been overheating just a little bit, and after 3 hours of racing, now it's feeling it. I mean, we're at the 2 hour and 38 minute mark and 30 seconds of this event. Anything can still happen. Maybe a tire goes down. You have to manage all of your mechanical parts of the car. You have to be able to manage your luck as best as you can. Lucas Onis into glass. Not the material, but the driver. Miller looking to the inside of Basham. Basham right now working through some lap traffic. Oh, Miller's on a mission, that 44 car. Watch out, he's in the back of the 52. Getting aggressive. And here comes Lucas Zonas. That outside line's really paid off. He's picked up 1 or 2 spots a lap just on that outside line in a track that's so hard to pass. Basham in front of Lucas Zonas, but it's not for position. It's to not go a lap down. Lucas Zonas goes to the outside. Not going to be able to do it yet. If you're Basham, you know you haven't seen the 169. You start to get worried. And there he goes. Lucas Zonas has lapped Basham. And Basham slips back. 1 lap down. Oh, but Lucas Zonas has contact with Lawler, and it looks like it's broken the right, or it looks like it is. The front bumper is hanging off of that car, and here's the problem. He's pushing Lawler through the track. If that front bumper comes any more loose and lands in front of the car, it could take out a tire. Lucas Zonas needs to be careful. You don't want to lose it from a mechanical issue. Gondola and the 9 machine pulls it off the track. He was in the top 10. Lap 260. And when they crossed the line at 2:55, it was the 169 of Lucas Zonas leading over the 9X of Basham, 88X of Phelps, 52 Kleisner, 44M of Miller, the top 5. So nothing changed amongst the top 7. The 58 machine of Hanna and the 9 of Gondola, but that car just pulled it off the racetrack. So the 9 machine with some pretty big problems. Couple cars here, the 53 in the top 10, 52 in the top 5. '58 also in the top 10. 7 was in the top 10. Jose Palacios. Miller right now, he's on a mission because I don't know, like that thing's possessed right now. That 44M machine, the way he's working around this traffic. Oh, watch out! Front straightaway. That poor 88. The whole tail's dragging at this point. Oh! Pusky. Well, they're starting to get a little aggressive. Apparently they heard there's 40 laps to go in this race. Some of these drivers must be convinced they're never going to run this car again. 58 and the 44M. '58 is 1 spot behind the 44M, so this is not for position. Ahead of them, some cars going dirt tracking. Glass, oh, Miller gets turned. And a mechanical black flag goes out to the 88. But maybe not before the 44M gets to him. I do believe that may have been a payback. You can see that whole car just sagging right now. The dirt, I don't know what happened over here. Lucas Zonas drives around it, but watch some of these cars. Look at how much bounce is over here in this turn. It's weird. It's like a major rut. I don't know if it's from the moisture, but it literally looks like these things are caravanning through the Caribbean. The sun has gone down, by the way. It feels like the temperature just dropped 10 degrees. Basham runs into Troesch in the 34X. Now that car may have a tire going down on the right front. Oh, Lawler buries his front end into Miller's rear. I don't know. Those two seem to be having problems. Lawler definitely having a problem, and now a lot of smoke coming out of the 4T4. He's trying to get to the finish right now. But smoking is a bad habit, as Tommy likes to say. You see it there, just under 2 hours and 45 minutes this event's been going. All around. That's Troesch again. So with all this shoveling and cars running into each other, I don't know if Basham completely lost his lap at this point, the 9X. Just ahead of Lucas Onis. I'm telling you, that 169, I can barely hear it. He definitely didn't cut the muffler off of it. Oh yeah. Some of the drivers that we saw taking it pretty easy in the first part of this race are really starting to rough it up. The hood of the 09's trying to open up. See that right front of the hood popping up. Haven't seen any hoods pop up. That's your leader right now, getting a lot of attention from Troesch. Surprised to see Troesch passing Lucas Onis, who's been so fast today. But that 169 does not seem to really be carrying the speed, at least through this lap. Maybe just taking it easy. Maybe knows what he's got to do, and that's keep that 9X at bay. But there's it seems like a lot of turn going into the 169. If you could, is the 9X a lap down? Huh? Is the 9X a lap down? Okay. Thank you. Red flag. What's going on here? The 169 machine has pulled it into the pits. Crew's running over to aid. What's going on with the 169 right now? They're going to work on it. And Basham's going to follow in the 9X machine. And the 44M's going to go in. Several drivers. Maybe the 9X just wanted to see what the 169 was doing in the pits. If you can't tell, there's kids bouncing up and down on the grandstands. They're working on that 169 machine, though. Number counts. So the...
-2, -9, lap down.
Gotcha. So the 169 machine, your leader, Lucas Onis. Now I got the update here. The 9X of Basham is now 2 laps down behind the 169 machine. 10 laps back is the 52, who's still hanging in there, Robert Kleisner. The 44M machine is 10 laps down. That's Mike Miller. And now I've named all 3 cars that just pulled in the pits. Miller, Basham, and the 169 of Lucas Onis. Then we have the 58 machine of Hannah, who's looking real good if everyone just stays in the pits. He's 13 laps down, which means this race is going to last a little bit longer. 88X machine, we saw that car pull into the pits after the black flag, a mechanical issue with that car. It literally looks like the rear suspension of that whole machine's kind of just given up. And then rounding out our 7th place, the 53 machine of Dale Connors. Hanging in there. That car's looking good. And actually, for all the incidents we've seen the 53 in, it hasn't been a case where that car looks beat up. I mean, any more than some of the other cars I hear, but some of these cars definitely look like they've been racing a 300-lap Enduro. They told the drivers in the drivers' meeting, and I loved it. They said, if any of you came here to not get a dent in your door, we'll give you your money back now, because this is an Enduro, and you're probably going to rough it up a little bit.
Well, this kind of looks like rush hour traffic on the 10 freeway.
So we can all relate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I could definitely testify to that. There's the 10 freeway, man. Good stuff. I love it. Greg joining me up here. Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse representing. You want to give a shout out to Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse? Because I did earlier, but maybe you can fill in people of why they should go to Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse.
Well, simply we have the best steaks on the planet.
It's true. It is true.
We cook over genuine mesquite charcoal. We've been around for over 50 years. If you've got a great appetite, we guarantee to satisfy.
So if I went there tonight, which I'm thinking about it, honestly, what would be like? What is your favorite thing to get at Pinnacle Peak?
Well, we have a lot of great food. The ribeyes are outstanding, the cowboy steaks, the 28-ounce trail bosses. Here we go, back to racing.
And that sounds good, too. Back to racing. And returning to the track, not only Basham and Lucasonis, Gondola back on the track, and the 88 machine also. See if they fix that, whatever was going on in the rear end. Yep, it could have been. I don't know. I'd be curious to know how they fixed it. But you can see that thing bouncing up and down. They changed the tire. I think they took it off of a street tire, maybe off one of the drift cars behind us. But Basham going. That car 2 laps behind your leader, Lucasonis. And at the time of that red, we were on 20 laps to go. So now with about 18, 17 laps left in this race, can Lucasonis finish it up? Did they work on that front bumper at all? No. Curious as why they felt the need for the 169. Maybe it was low on fuel. Some of these cars probably pushing it on gas a little bit, especially if you didn't start with a full tank. Strategy. Rath in the 21. That car's running again, and it's on track. Car's getting really close down that back straightaway. See, now it's crazy that they get close because we've lost so many cars at this point. Where earlier it was normal to see everyone running into each other, especially under red flags. Looks like everyone kind of figured out the red flag situation, though. Uh-oh, this doesn't sound good. Sounds like fuel pickup issues for that car. Or maybe it's not firing right. Now it's running good. I don't know, maybe he was waiting for a place to slot in, but that didn't sound healthy. Less than 15 laps to go in this 300-lap Enduro. It's going to end up being just about 3 hours long of an event. Fans out here definitely getting their money's worth. That 32, man, does not sound good. Traction control?
Yeah, it sounds like traction control to me.
It looks like it's working for him. Oh, Glass not doing it again. That's Had clogged fuel filters in the past, but that doesn't necessarily sound like one, the way it's picking up and kicking out, so not sure exactly what's up with that car. As we watch for the 10 lap to go signal from the flagman for the 169 of Lucazonis. Ken Lucazonis just got nailed by Troesch. I mean, the 34 just barreled into him, and the door panel's falling off. 10 laps to go, and Lucazonis, this is where you just got to keep your head. You know you just got brutally hit from behind, but you got to let it go. You got to just say, okay, whatever. Maybe talk after the race, but don't deal it now. You don't want to make any enemies in these last few laps of this race. Lucazonis slipping through the 09 Pusky. Basham still in second in the 9X machine. Mechanical black flag, it looked, either went to the 34 or the 58. I believe it was to the 34. And it would be because of that left front flat tire. Troesch is going to abide by it. Pull it in. The 13 machine sitting on the back straightaway. That car's done. Gary Dion's car sitting in just kind of a half racetrack, half junkyard right now. But it's been fun. Certainly an event I'd love to see come back next year. Another driver that Lucazonis has had to deal with throughout this event, Lawler. Oh, Jose Palacios, the 7 machine, getting hit from behind, going for an off-road excursion, which wasn't on the map, to the off-road excursion that is on the map right here. There goes Lucazonis, 5 laps to go. 295 circuits through this wild course here at Speedway Willow Springs. I think Lucazonis is just taking it easy right now. That, or his car slowing down. 4 laps to go. Locked him up. Three. Still got several packs. The guys are really pushing it here in these last few laps. Get what you can. Some of these guys don't even know, hey, am I on the same lap or whatnot? And Glass, if this car shuts down right here, that's going to be kind of an issue. This could be a chicane here for a few drivers. The 169 is going to come around, and he's going to see a very relieving flag. Or I should say a relieving sign, and no, it's not the bathroom sign. It's the white flag. 1 lap to go for Ken Lucazonis, the 169 machine. Through the final dirt section of this track, he will come out of turn number 4 and see the checkered flag waving as he has won the 300-lap Enduro at Speedway Willow Springs of SoCal 300. Basham comes home second. 52 machine likely locking up third. Kleisner with Miller fourth. And I believe it was the 58 machine rounding out the top 5. Look at that. You got something to go do right now.
Yeah, we're going to go give away a whole bunch of money. Jeffrey, I'd like to thank you for inviting me up to the broadcast booth today. We had a great time today. And everybody, if you enjoyed this type of racing and you enjoy motorized mayhem, make sure you check out lowbudgettv.com. And they're all over the United States watching this stuff.
Love it. Thank you so much for, again, everything you guys do. Let's go celebrate a winner. Ain't nobody going to hold me back. We're going to go for a walk right now, folks. That's right. This is how dangerous we get here at Low Budget TV. These drivers climbing out of their cars. Getting a drink. Well-deserved drink of water.
Woo! Congratulations. Thank you.
Woo! Thanks, guys. Do they need to hold the banner with
Yes.
Woo!
Fucking did it!
$4,000. All right, come on, let's go have a talk with our SoCal 300 winner, Kenny. You led 3/4 of the whole entire race. Tell me, what was your strategy and how did it play out for you during this race?
Just to keep going. Just trying to keep off other people. It was crazy out there, just freaking.
Yeah, you got out front early and you only gave up the lead once when you had to go into the pits and you put your head down, you came back out, and you are the SoCal 300 champion, taking home $4,000. Let's give it up for Kenny one more time. Kenny, is there anybody you would like to thank for getting you out here today?
Oh, I definitely thank God first. Got to thank my wife for putting up with all the time I've spent working on the car. Got to thank my pit crew out there, Ken's trash removal, and I just wanted to put a shout out to Autism, Race for David, and to my buddy EOC Torero, retired from the Navy after 24 years last night. And that's it. Oh, and let me thank Danny for putting this together. Willow Springs, Pinnacle Steakhouse, Misfit Motorsports, Platinum Jewelry and Loan, and all the other sponsors that I'm not thinking of.
Look at him.
Hold that trophy up, Kenny.
All
All right, guys, let's give him one final applause for your SoCal 300 winner, Kenny Lucazanes, the Lancaster native.
Kenny here in the 169 machine. Man, oh man, holding up the big check. She's got the check already, you said?
So she's got the check already?
Oh, man. Kenny, talking about that race out there, I got to know. So you came into the pits late there. What was the reason?
I was out of gas.
You were out of gas. It was that close?
It was that close. Every time I go around the corner, it was cutting off on me, and I was hoping I was going to make the race, and then when they gave me a chance, I was like, I got to go get gas.
How hard were you crossing those fingers at that moment?
Oh, I was crossing hard. I didn't know what to do. I was giving it as much as I could just to carry me just without giving throttle through the corner, but it made it, luckily. Yeah, proud of the car. I can't believe it's still going.
There's lots of contact out there, drivers getting into each other, but that's enduro racing. You guys going through the asphalt and the dirt. How would you sum up this entire event?
Amazing. Can't wait for another one.
Let's do it again?
Do it again.
Congratulations.
I'll be back. Thank you.
All right, Ken Lucazanes, driver of the 169 machine, taking the victory. That's right. I'm the cameraman and the microphone. That's 9X machine. Jake Basham here in the 9X. Dude, you look a little dirty. You driving through the dirt?
Yeah, a little bit of dirt out there.
So let's talk about that event, man. You came through, you challenged for the lead there a couple times, you're really pushing it, but what ultimately do you think led to you finishing in second there?
I was able to lead for a little while, and then the dirt section got pretty bad over there. There was a lot of big potholes, so it slowed me down. That's where I was making up my time, was in that corner. And then just catching lap traffic and just, on top of slowing me down, plus lap traffic. 169 is a damn good driver, that's for sure. He's fast. He's real fast.
But, a lot of credit has to go to yourself, too, only finishing just behind that 169 machine after 300 laps. You talk about that pothole. Was that kind of raking on the endurance a little bit?
Oh, yeah, I got down. It was probably almost 2 feet deep by the time we were done. If you go look at it, it's about that deep right now. It's pretty bad. Oh, my God. And you're basically jumping through that thing. So I try to avoid it, and then there'd be cars there, and just he drove a good race. So it was good.
Let's talk about the people you got to thank.
Dyer Motorsports, Chilbus Racing, Heatwave Salon, and then all the Willow Springs family. Danny Quinn for putting this on for so many years. Really awesome program he puts on for sure.
You ready to come back and do another 300 laps?
Yeah, let's go right now.
Let's go right now. Congratulations on the second place. Everyone give a woo! Woo! All right. Yeah. Oh, Yoda. All right, Yoda. Let's talk about it. How was your run out there? Decline comment from Yoda. No comment. They're going to snap a picture here with the top 3 finishers. You see the dirt? All over these machines, all over the French straightaway. This is not how the French straightaway looked when we started the event. So did you get hit by any rocks out there?
No, I did not.
That's pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Oh.
A lot of dust.
A lot of dust. Andy, now a photographer. You do everything around here.
Sort of.
Probably feels like it.
No, we have a lot of good volunteers that just work a lot of days and nights to make the show go.
What an event, though. Today was great.
Good, man. Glad you had fun.
Oh, always do.
We love having you guys.
Love being part of this event. They want something crazy. There it is, the crazy, yeah. Their finishers, we'll have a chat there with the 52 machine. Coming in, woo! All right, held on for a third place finish, man. How was it out there?
Oh man, I played my game, slowed down, let anybody. The 2 leaders were fighting, bumping me, and I just said, take the inside lane. I'm just going to play my game, and it worked out. I went out there and was not going to kill the car. So.
Yeah, and I mean, it looks good right now compared to how a lot of these cars, I mean, maybe a little dirty. Did the dirt play any factor out there?
Yeah, I found a groove that I really liked, and I just kept hitting that consistently. The first time I went into that, after the first break, it was definitely a big change from the first 100. And then the last 300, it was easy. It dried out real nice, and it just played. So.
Yeah, so we know that we had a good car count come out here. I think 37 cars took the green. But my question to you is, for anyone that was sitting on the fence, that was like, well, maybe we'll come out, what would you say to them about if they had this event next year?
To come out, build a car. They're $300, throw a cage in it, put a racing seat in it, and come out here. It doesn't matter what place you get. I've been racing here for 3 seasons, and this is my second top 3. You just come out and have fun. That's all about it.
Let's talk about the people that helped you get this third place finish.
Oh man, everybody. First of all, my mom, my sister, those are my 2 biggest supporters. Danny Quinn, Justin Quinn, they've all spent countless hours working on this car with me. Joe David at Sierra Auto Recycling, Ridgecrest, California. They give me all the parts, tires, rims, all that stuff, and motion tire as well.
Great, and one last note. The Dino, Rexy, he survived.
He survived. I'm so surprised he's still on there.
Hey, congratulations again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we appreciate all the drivers for coming out to this event. That's going to be a wrap here at Low Budget TV's coverage of the SoCal 300. SoCal Enduro 300. You see all the names on there. Big supporters of this event. Autos Electrical, Pinnacle Peak Steakhouse, Minerts, Industrial Supply, and Misfit Motorsports. And the big check going to Lucas Jonas after quite the run here. The carnage that is the Enduros. But we made it. We made it 300 laps in just about 3 hours of racing. And it all goes to the 169 machine, who's going to take home the check and the trophy here from Speedway Willow Springs. Thank you so much for watching our coverage here on Low Budget TV. Again, our website, lowbudget.tv. Check it out. A lot of where we will probably be next, doing live events, as well as Facebook. Low Budget TV. You'll see a bunch of highlights from a whole bunch of events get posted there. Do not miss it. As well as not just Facebook, but YouTube, Low Budget TV. Just Google Low Budget TV. You'll find us all over the place. Thanks again, folks, for watching. I'm Jeffrey Best signing out for Low Budget TV here at Speedway Willow Springs. You all have a good night, and I want to go fast.